Hand clap to the master brothers and sisters. We are finally back. We finally made to the very first of hopefully 2 reactions I'll be jumping on this YouTube platform. Welcome to this Mystelics reaction, guys. Big up the masters out and large, all over the entire universe right there. Big up yourself for definitely tuning into these vibrations. I do appreciate every single one of you guys, and of course, hopefully, I'll be jumping in a bit later on today. So definitely look out for that vibrations if I definitely do so, guys. And of course, are you guys seeing this thing on my hand? This is actually something very important right there, guys. This is something, an earthing device, where you connect this to the earthing part of your socket and you connect this to yourself. There's like a thing there where you actually touch it. I don't have the connecting thing on me right now, but you know, it is good, brothers and sisters. I would urge every single one of you guys, of course, you know, I like to pass on information, brothers and sisters. It's a good thing that you actually do research and find out the benefits of this kind of things right there. But of course, a number of persons actually did this, and a number of ailments was pretty much solved as a result of this kind of stuff, man. There's the earthing. Just Google earthing, brothers and sisters, and of course look out for devices where you can actually connect this when you're sleeping and stuff. It is much better to do so, brothers and sisters, because you wake up energized. Now I said some time back, I always no, I think it was in the vlog. I said some time back, I always wake up active. Well, that was actually in the vlog when I was leaving Dominica some time back, coming back, you know, back and forth. But I think it was the 3rd time. Anyways, and I was saying, guys, I always wake up energized. It's not because of this though, but you know, sometimes people are just, you know, but I think this is definitely helpful when it comes down to that kind of situation right there, because I know a number of persons, they tend to feel a little let down, so to speak. They feel like, you know, waking up tired and this kind of things there. Well, this can definitely help you guys in that regard right there. Some of us are naturally built, you know, especially, well, I think my thing is I drink a lot of water. Not during the day, but I do drink a good amount of water in the night just before I go to sleep, so it keeps the cells hydrated. This is also something I think individuals need to try it. Anyways, brothers and sisters, that's not why we are here today. Anyways, guys, let us of course get into the vibrations for today. Of course, I saw this thing right there, brothers and sisters. Take a listen.
The supermarkets, and doing people, some of them, ACS 711 High Street, 545. They got pig feet, a 2 over pig feet, and they cut it in half.
So you know, you'll see these 2 things on the pig, the 1 foot. It seems like they cut that piece in half, you know, so they have 1 half there and the other half there. They're selling it. They're checking almost eat. That's crazy.
And 1 round. Okay.
So it seems like it's just 1 foot that they use. They take the toes, I guess the toe section, and then the part on top it, and they selling it for $5 and something cents, brothers and sisters. They're checking, well, some people like the pig, but they might not be able to afford it for some reason or the other. But hey,
they take the toe of the pig feet and they cut it in half. So
boy,
1, 2.
that is truly something else.
That is how they found in it. 1 to 3 pieces.
But lady, at the end of the day, it's still you that bite, eh? It's still you that bite. You probably thought it was something else, but I'm sure when you bought this stuff, you thought, hey, what is this? You know, I'm sure you probably did some inspections. I mean, before you buy stuff, most likely you would have to do some sort of inspection before you know, buy the stuff. It was in a clear plastic, so most likely you are the one who saw this and decided you're gonna buy it right there and then come on social media to put it up. I think this is kind of crazy right there. Probably that's the reason why you bought it. You bought it to show people, hey, but you could have just left it in the store and film it and say this is what they're selling, you know. But probably you didn't believe what you see, so you decided to buy it so you can, you know, clarify for yourself. Maybe that's what happened right there.
For 545.
545 for foot of pig.
ACS 711 High Street. So right now, a 2 over pig feet, cut in half.
All shall eat, guys. Then again, I've heard of pigtail and this kind of things that people eating this kind of thing. I don't eat those things. I don't even eat bacon, brothers and sisters. I used to eat bacon back in the day. For turkey bacon, I just eat. Well, let me clarify. I don't eat pork bacon, because I don't think pork is good for the human body at all. It seems like a number of persons are eating things because they say, oh, ancestors used to eat it, so they eat it. No, brothers and sisters, sometimes the ancestors had to cope with what they had so that they could eat it. Given the times where people were doing slavery and this kind of things, they used to make dumpling and this kind of things there for them to maintain survival and also to survive the very hard work that was being done back then. Extremely hard work, brothers and sisters. This is why a number of persons are suffering things, saying, hey, but I ate the same thing that my family was doing. It's one thing to eat something, brothers and sisters. It is another thing when the activities counteract what you're eating. So if you're eating dumpling and you're doing construction and heavy work and these kind of things, it makes sense. But if you're eating dumpling and you sit down on a chair all the time, brothers and sisters, what do you think is going to happen to you? Your work is in an office, you're doing supervisor positions, you stand up a few times and then you sit for most of the time. What do you think is going to happen, brothers and sisters? So it is vital for you to be able to know what you can and can't eat. I don't understand why people eat pig. People say pig nice. Don't get me wrong, you know, the pig soup does be nice. Because I eat pig soup. Pig soup, yeah, pig soup. But they put pig the thing. I used to put that on the side. Not me. No, Google me. Nothing wrong if you want to eat your pig. You know, I just find it rather strange because the pig is one of the unclean animals, the scavengers of the earth, man. They clean up dirty stuff. This is why you give a pig. It eats anything. The pig eats its own defecation. It eats all sorts of crazy stuff. But people still eat that stuff. Hey, don't get me wrong, you know, you want to eat your stuff. And it's also interesting that the pig feet has spores in it. Spores, I think spores they call it. It has holes, brothers and sisters, because it's a being that it's a scavenger, so to speak. It has pores where pus. Ooh. And that is what the human going to eat well put out. That is what they're selling for you to eat. That's what it's designed for. You can Google it, you know. The part of the pig, the foot of the pig, brothers and sisters, has a hole. So all the stuff that it eats, when the body is interacting and, you know, it's you know, it then cleans out itself through these holes in its foot. This is interesting stuff right there. But hey, if you want to eat your pig, go ahead and eat your pig, brothers and sisters. That's just not for me right there. But hey, it is what it is. But I think that is kind of crazy right there when it comes on to selling the stuff. I don't think that you selling, you making it seem as if you have 3 pieces when actually you just have 1 piece of food. You have 1 piece of food, that's the small part of the food, and you're selling that, and you know, interesting stuff.
Okay, purpose is they cut the toe, you know, of the pig feet. So that is supposed to be what? 1 piece.
The left side and the right side.
3 pieces.
And the middle.
545.
Well, I think somebody say in the comments, they're making sure that everybody eats. Those who can afford the more stuff, oxtail and what have you, and those who cannot really afford, but they still want to eat a pig, you know. So that is it right there, brothers and sisters. Anyways, talking about affordability, brothers and sisters, I saw something rather interesting, and I think I had to point it out right there. This is not the full video. If you want the full video, let me know, but this is very interesting right there, guys. I know the government of Dominica keeps talking about geothermal and, you know, actually utilizing, you know, energy to help, you know, counteract the fossil fuels, using geothermal, brothers and sisters. Although that's nice, you know, that's great, wonderful, but there are cheap or free ways to do things. And when I say free ways to get energy. And this is a very rather interesting one right there.
Guys, say bye-bye to NEPA, to solar energy, and to fuel. You don't have to buy fuel or diesel for your gen or a better pass my neighbor anymore. There is a new way of generating electricity now in your home without having to buy anything. You don't have to buy fuel. You don't have to buy oil. You don't have to buy anything.
It's interesting, brothers and sisters, that, you know, living in Asia or the Caribbean, people have not thought of doing these kind of things right there. This is actually in Africa. You know, African people, they are on a whole other level. There's a guy who is running a TV utilizing absolutely nothing, but the TV is converting heat waves or waves in the atmosphere, brothers and sisters. It is converting waves in the atmosphere and then turning that waves in the atmosphere to be electricity that then turns on the TV, brothers and sisters. He has done this so well to the point where he's even able to use that same technology in cars. Yes, brothers and sisters, he uses it in cars. It's very interesting, the kind of technology that individuals come up with. This one, however, is based off springs. And the way that you put the spring, especially when you start turning it, it's going to be pulling and pushing. So while one is stretching, the other end is pulling. This one is also it pulls back while the other one stretches. When the other one stretches, this one then wants to pull back, and then it forces this one to go forward. Then this one wants to pull back, and then it has a constant turning thing right there. This is exactly what is happening with a number of the springs that you see right there. And you can see the light has been lighting. Obviously, this is the thing that is generating the electricity. So it's a low cost thing for which I think you have a number of these things in your home. You can literally have free electricity in your home, man. Now the question is, why haven't individuals thought of this thing? I obviously know the answer to this question. It has a lot to do with the companies the companies constantly wanting to make money and not having you be totally autonomous from them. They want you to be dependent on them, and therefore these kind of things are not put out there. So I think this is very interesting stuff right there. I think we need to look into it. There's also the interesting part where they're talking about utilizing copper and different metals instead of utilizing weedicides. That's one of the things that I mentioned to Mr. Glenroy Susu Coffee in that regard, based off technology that is there, and it literally keeps out the parasites from the plants, and it literally does that, brothers and sisters. So why don't we look into this kind of technology and avoiding all these chemicals and all this fuel stuff and this kind of things there, and utilizing what nature has given us? The very ground itself has energy. The very ground has energy, not ground, sorry. The trees that absorbs the energy from the ground has energy. I've seen people connecting rods to trees. I can't say it's 100%, but when you see a number of them doing these kind of things, they're utilizing the right metals, and it's important. The right metals are important when it comes down to utilizing and getting energies from certain things, and they are able to light bulbs. They are able to do a number of things. This one in particular that we're seeing on the screen right there can pretty much run a home. It's not just about lighting a bulb, but this can produce about 250 volts of electricity. Constant electricity, brothers and sisters. There's other ways and means that they use, and then there are other ways and means that they tend to use this stuff, and then when you want to stop the stuff, you can just, there's a braking thing for the wheel that you can actually use to stop it, because it's going to be constant. It's just a pull and push. Unless the spring gets weak, then that would be the only downfall. Then you would most likely have to replace the spring, which is very interesting when it comes down to this thing, guys. I think this is a wonderful way in which, persons can look forward to not just saving monies, but also providing, electricity that is, cheaper and freer, and also less harmful to the environment, so to speak. Because we're talking about climate change. I don't personally believe in it at all, but if you're looking at that sect, I think that would be a wonderful thing to do in that regard right there. So I think this is a wonderful thing, guys. What are your thoughts on this?
There is a new way of...
Do you think DOMLEC or does the individual should be able to be doing this thing?
Electricity now in your home.
It's all the springs turning this thing, guys.
Without having to buy anything. You don't have to buy foil. You don't have to buy oil. You don't have to buy anything.
Anything at all. So it's very interesting when you look at this kind of stuff right there. Anyways, brothers and sisters, let us move on from there in that regard. Of course, we're going to be talking about something rather interesting that I saw, and of course, they're going to be talking about nasty business.
And Dominica,
take a listen to this,
nasty
guys.
Business. Okay. They push your hand in your, and when you work your muscle right, all that is coming out of Dominica.
So it seems like Dominica is just known for nasty business.
In Dominica, in the bouillon.
They have called bouillon music nasty business. He literally says that. Yeah, so there's a segment in Dominica, in the bouillon called the nasty business. So they pretty much associating nasty business to that of bouillon.
Called nasty business. Okay. They push your hand in your, and when you work your muscle right, all that is coming out of Dominica. Some of it has spilled over into soca, but a lot of it is still focused on Dominica's bouillon. And that's kind of how they popularized it. Using what that shock value that dancehall has.
Yeah, it definitely has a shock value, but I also think people themselves, like this kind of stuff then, so to speak. There's a shock value involved in it, pushing the gap, so to speak, of what can be portrayed. But personally, I people might say it has its time and its place. Yeah, sure, if you want to say that, but I don't think this kind of thing should be on the radio. At least the censored version should always be on the radio. I've heard the radios in Dominica playing this kind of things. No censorship at all. They just playing it by boy. And they forget that they have an obligation, that there are little ones there. There are little ones and people growing up listening to these things. You saw the children in the school singing the
Put it into them.
Here's the thing. I don't not support nasty business type Buddha music, but it's not for me. And I also
not for me either, nah. You say he don't not support it. That means he's not saying that he supports it or not. But he's just saying that it's not the type of music for him. I personally agree that sentiment right there. I mean, people can do whatever they want. They feel like, okay, that is what giving me money. Let me push the envelope a little bit more and stuff. So the shock factor in the your sector called nasty music is pretty much the ones bringing a lot of people money, so to speak. And as a result of that, they say, well, if it works, then why fix it? They're not bothered about, who hears it and whatever. I've spoken to some of them, and they indicated to me that's not their job. That's the jobs of their parents. But I'm telling them it's not just the parents' job, because there's also internal and external influence as well. When you're inside your house and you're telling your children, don't listen to this stuff because it's not good, then they go to a neighbor's house and the neighbor is playing this music, Vikify. What do you think? They're gonna think, well, maybe my mom is not telling me the truth or this kind of thing. So it takes us a village, so to speak, in that regard. We need to protect the younger ones from further sexualizing themselves, so to speak, brothers and sisters, because of the music. When a little girl is saying, well, push on, let me not even go there. Let's continue, brothers and sisters.
don't know how I feel about nasty business music being played on the road.
Especially when
on the road or in... I mean, if you want to play your stuff, go in a private... you're in your vehicle somewhere and you're playing your stuff, great. Me, when it comes on to even swearing, the word swearing in music and this kind of things there, I'm not really a fan of it. People want to swear, that's fine. But if I'm playing the music that has a swearing stuff in it, I literally, if I have to go in there and edit it out myself, I will do so. Or I try to get the clean versions of stuff before I get to, put them on my playlist. Because sometimes the music is catchy and, it's not too bad, but it's just that you have, certain things that tend to go out of the way when people are expressing themselves. And you're like, that's not really, the kind of stuff that you want to take on about. So that's very interesting right there. Let's continue.
And I also don't know how I feel about nasty business music being played on the road.
Especially when children and them walking
Exactly. You see? And in carnival time, you see a number of persons with their little ones, there. And if you're saying, okay, it's a family, event, so to speak, you cannot be having this music all about, because you're sensitizing the little ones to this kind of music. And then they themselves are going to grow up far worse. It's like pushing the envelope. We did not grow up listening to these kind of things there. They are the ones going to be growing up listening to this kind of stuff there. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to be pushing the envelope further and further and further. That's how human nature responds to this. This is why it's important that the community looks out for the little ones right there. This is very, very important. It's not just saying, oh, my parents, this community also has a responsibility, I think, in that regard right there.
I find that carnival culture is for everybody. What I would just hate to happen is for...
But there's also the part where you're looking at lewdness and nakedness in this thing as well. So it's one thing to talk about the music. Yes, true, that definitely needs to be, at least curtailed to PG-13 versions. But also you also get to see other things as well. I think you get to see other things when people are out there just being, and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, So I think that is also a problem as well. Mystelics, oh, this is that. No, that's also a problem as well. Because that is happening. It's an interesting time when you listen to certain people when it comes down to the arguments. Oh, but that is happening. Oh, but that person is doing this, or that person is doing that. So because that is happening, that person is doing this and that person is doing that, that means it's okay? It's not okay. You cannot just say, okay, let's bring everything. No, let us reverse, brothers and sisters, to some sort of, moral thinking, so to speak. I think everything has its time and its place, obviously, but, especially when it comes down to the public space, I think we all need to have a responsibility in that regard. Even the Trinidadians are saying that same sentiment as well.
Or something like nasty business to be the thing that is the dominating music and to replace this power soca. Because now we're replacing a type of music that really brought people together.
Yeah, because soca music, from my understanding, is all about bringing people together. Bringing people together and having a good time, meeting your friend and say, hey, let's go there, we balancing on the road. Or you making joke that if your boss see you, you ducking and this kind of things. That's to me what soca is all about. But when you look at Booyah music back in the day, this is why I respect people like Signal Band, and this set of folks who have a level of understanding, in the music, well, the general music that they tend to make. But I mean, come on, we need to have some sort of standing. Soca music is about getting together, the love that you share, having fun with your friends and your family, and this kind of things there. That's how I knew soca was or is. I don't know soca to be anything other than that. Jamaica has a reggae on the consciousness of the mind, and then you have dancehall that's doing the complete opposite, even though dancehall came from reggae music. It's very interesting when you look at, how the genres tend to evolve or not evolve at all. Regressing, brothers and sisters. So I think it's always a vital part when you're looking at this thing for us to keep that in mind right there. Anyways, brothers and sisters, let's continue.
In such a euphoric way, I don't think that it's a true embodiment of what soca music is.
Yeah, so I think we get the point in that regard right there, brothers and sisters. I really do think that we get the point right there. Anyways, guys, look, they're calling me for me to roll out. So I'm gonna stop this right there, guys, and hopefully I'll be doing another one a bit later on today. So definitely tune in for that vibrations right there. And then it's about Mystelics once again, guys. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button, and of course subscribe and turn on that post notification so you can get the latest vibrations when they tend to come through. It's about Mystelics once again, guys. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comment box below. What are your thoughts, guys? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. About Mystelics once again, guys. Be real. Salute the king always. Be positive.